Live.
Huzzah!
Welcome to the party, friends. I usually like doobie until we make sure we're live and stuff, and then I'll talk about today's project. Um, Last week,
You good on Twitch?
good on Twitch. Oh, my phone just said so too. YouTube's good.
It's still connecting.
How do we like the framing? I didn't adjust the cameras after I set them up. Doot. Close enough. If you're wearing 3D glasses, I feel bad for you.
We're live on the tubes.
We're good on the tubes?
Yep.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. A day late because we took full advantage of the holiday, and Brittany and I went out to visit the squirrels in Hoosier National Forest. And if I feel a little bit edgy or rambly, it's because I got a nasty case of the poison ivy. So that's fun. We did a stream last week. We were here live streaming, Levi and I, making stuff. We had a bit of a technical problem with the video. It sounded just terrible. So I took it down. So I figure we're just going to do last week again. And we're going to do hearts. Huzzah. I don't know if you can see that or not. Here, let's switch cameras and see if that helps. Boop. There we go. There's kind of a funky heart. So we're going to do hearts again. So I'll be turning this small chunk of 1/4-inch square into a 1/4-inch square heart. We'll see if we can't do it better. I think Levi's going to be joining me in the fire today, and I think he too is going to do a heart of sorts, but he's putting some round stock in the fire.
Yep.
So his will be a round heart.
I think my process will be a little bit different.
Are you doing the fold and open method?
I'm doing the fold and open method, but I'm not going to try and do them both at once.
Interesting. Oh, hey, if you're going to do it that way, see that orange nub sticking up out of the toolbox? That might be useful to you for the method that you're thinking.
It might.
So keep that in mind. The basic method I'll be doing today, I know this is going to come to a huge surprise to this channel, but I'm going to treat it kind of like a chain link. It's kind of cool. So you take your straight bar, you taper it down, make it look pretty, and then you do a curl and a curl, and then you fold it closed. You hammer up the end there to make it look a little pointed and cleared and on purpose, which is going to collapse it. So once you have that end done like you want, pull it back open with a pair of tongs until the insides meet. Boom, you got yourself a heart. And what's great for you new smiths is you can start practicing this now, and you'll be so incredibly good by the time February comes around. You give it to your sweetheart, boom, you look like a stud. And somewhere between then and now, we'll do roses, because those are fun. I don't know if my rose is still in my toolbox.
I don't think so.
I don't see it. But yeah, we'll do a stream probably in a couple of weeks, or we'll just wait till February. And we'll do doing a flower, because that's super fun and not as difficult as you might think. So we'll do hearts, and then later we'll do flowers and drop metal, because this is a drop forge channel. And then you'll be set for that holiday that's totally not fake and totally legitimate in February.
Jesse's favorite.
You know, that, Brittany, you raise an interesting question that I think we could make as our topic of our first debate tonight.
Mine is always.
I think I'm hot, so I'm going to go ahead and fold this.
Oh, do your thing, my friend. Of the people here, and if anybody's tuned in, what's your favorite holiday? Why?
Whee!
Let's leave any kind of religious debate out of it. Let's just talk about fun holidays with our friends and family.
It's like a bar. We don't talk about politics or religion.
No politics or religion on my channel. Let's not paint the metal. Let's just hit directly down.
I was a little bit uneven there.
Well, what's the lesson I'm always saying about putting bends in metal?
I put it there, I can take it out. I'll just put a hook there instead, though.
That's right. Where? Are you using tongs today?
Yeah. I need to get better with tongs, so I'll use tongs.
Tongs to tong. So, doing tapers first. Which we'll talk about tapers for just a minute when I'm done hammering. Because that makes the sound go wonky. This is first and foremost a blacksmithing channel, despite the fact that we talk about all things not blacksmithing. But I'll bring it up real quick because I have a friend that watches the channel who does not have a forge or any of that gear, and he wants to go from never blacksmithing anything to making swords with his son, which is totally cool. I'm here for it. But don't start directly with swords. Learn some basics. And what's really cool, I'll wait till Levi's done doing this thing to get to the really cool bit. Levi, tell us about what you're doing.
So, I brought the two pieces together, so now I'm going to taper this down a bit, because it's going to be the center of my heart.
This hammer is straight down, not paint. So the really cool thing that I was going to get into, Levi, will you pull me out of the fire real quick? Sure. So I can yammer about things for a second? Yeah. So often, I wish I had an S that came by. But often, you want to learn the basics of blacksmithing and stuff. So generally speaking, when you do a blacksmithing class, at least the classes I've been to as far as beginner level, the first thing you start with are making tapers, which is basically what a chisel is. Then once you learn to taper, you make an S-hook so you can learn to use the horn and learn to shape metal and whatnot. And once you make your S-hook, people are usually generally very proud. Look at me, I made an S-hook, huzzah! And we're always very proud. Heck, Brittany's first lesson was making an S-hook. That's close enough. Brittany's first lesson was making an S-hook, and her first S-hook was better than mine. But we make a lot of hooks and stuff because you learn tapers and you learn how to shape metal and you learn how to move metal. So that's what the S-hook teaches us. And then usually after that, we start talking about chisels and punches. If you look here, this is a well-loved, well-used chisel and punch, and they need to be cleaned up a little bit. But the fun thing here is after you've made an S-hook a couple of times, after you've made punches and chisels of different shapes and sizes and pointiness, if you will, believe it or not, once you've gotten good at that, you've learned all the important steps that are required in making a sword as far as shaping the metal goes. Now, to do that well takes a lot of practice, and there's a lot to be said about the order in which you move metal so it comes out straight in the quench, and then of course quenching and stuff. But as far as making a knife, it's just a really long chisel. So, like I told my buddy today, like, it's cool you want to build swords with your son. I can't wait to see him. But learn blacksmithing basics first, and then make like 100 really crappy knives and throw them in the scrap bin. Then make a really nice knife. And the lessons you'll learn making a really nice knife will teach you everything you need to know about doing a sword. So I know everybody's like, Forged in Fire is awesome. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun. But those guys didn't start there. And if they did, they started with a chunk of metal and a belt grinder. And they do more grinding than they do forging. But this is a blacksmithing channel, so we're going to do it blacksmithing ways. I'm gonna jump back in the fire and get off my soapbox for just a minute about learning things. I didn't get an answer on favorite holiday. Brittany, you're standing closest to me. What's your favorite holiday?
Halloween,
Why?
because I don't know.
I would agree with that.
I like Halloween because you can dress up. It lets people show off their creativity. You get to scare the shit out of people for fun.
I like it. I have a friend. I won't say who, but we had a big Halloween party and we were expected to dress up. I wore a very obvious costume. We won't talk about it. And when I was talking to this friend about that same party, who can remain anonymous? So if they jump in the chat later, they don't have to out themselves. But I asked my friend, what do you dress it up as? And he said, it's not so much about putting a mask on. I think with this group, I can take a mask off. And he wore some choice bits of clothing that makes it obvious to what he likes to enjoy in his free time. And I just thought that was really cool of him to just like out himself like that.
Somebody's getting a little hot.
It's impossible to tell who that is right now. Is it me or you?
Right? Me.
Cool. I'm going to back off the fire a little bit just in case it was also me. Oh, that was very close to me. I need to make another pair of beaver tongs. So you folded that metal, Levi. What's your general thought process here as to what you're doing next?
So my general thought process is I want to put in the initial arcs for the... This isn't working the way I want.
You definitely want to get that hot because it's not going to work the way you want to work for the rest of the time you got it out.
So I was going to put in the initial
Lobes.
Yeah, lobes, hubs, whatever you want to call them.
Oh, that's completely black.
Ooh, my piece is a little warm. You need tongs to stick that in.
Yeah, enjoy it, my friend. So for me, like, I don't know if you want to call me like an old fuddy-duddy or what. I don't mean to come off like a Scrooge. But I'm not really into holidays. I don't care. However, I do really love Thanksgiving and Christmas because it's a really good excuse to drag all the family together and have like a house full of people and like laughing and joking, and like in my family dinners somebody always shows up and makes a lot of inappropriate jokes, and it turns into a little bit of jabbing at one another for fun, and it's just a good lively time. Same reason why I really like St. Patty's Day. It's a reason to get together with your pals and drink and just be a bunch of jackasses. Like I love that.
disagree with St. Patrick's Day.
Well, our resident bartender disagrees about St. Patrick's Day, but I think that's a pretty obvious reason why.
Do you know what the biggest drinking holiday is in America?
Probably Christmas.
4th of July.
Thanksgiving? I don't doubt it. It has to be Thanksgiving or Christmas. Because when you get the family together, families don't always get along as well as they do on Family Matters or All in the Family or the Jeffersons, so sometimes things get a little bit bitey. You didn't get to see any of that because I forgot about my other camera, but I'm basically just working on those tapers we're always talking about. So these hearts take no time at all to knock out, and if it was just me on the anvil, I could probably knock one out in like 10 minutes or so, if you don't count warm-up time. But I'm going to stretch this out because it's like a 2-hour stream, so I'm going to go real slow and try and make this taper really nice and smooth so the heart looks nice when it's done. So, Levi, I'm purposely sitting on top of the fire because I'm very thin. Mm-hmm. So be careful that you don't knock me into the fire when you come out. I just had no better way of doing that while you're there.
I'm going to grab another set of tongs.
So a buddy of mine is a state trooper, an incredibly fair officer too. And he gets to see people on basically the worst day of their life regularly. And that's an extreme reference, but I think that's why Brittany doesn't like St. Patrick's Day. She gets to see people on the worst drinking of the year. I wonder if it would be easier for you if you held it there by the tongs and then tried to curve things the other direction. Does that make sense?
Possibly.
Because you got very little to hang on to there. See, now your heat's in the wrong spot. So I would say get that hot and try with that hand configuration. Or something similar. I would do that with it hot. Because then your lobes won't be as far out of whack.
Yep.
Oh, the cigar of the day, guys. Bringing back an old favorite. That is a Mark Twain Riverboat. Gotta say, I originally bought these cigars just because they were pretty and I thought they'd look nice in my humidor. And I've been through several boxes of them since because they are just delightful. Sorry, I wasn't trying to take that out of your hands, but I think I will. Cute. Draw out a real thin taper. Make that very pointy. I'm liking how that's looking. I keep forgetting about my camera angles here. But we got ourselves a nice little taper there. It looks a little bit chunkier in that camera than it does in real life. But I'm relatively happy with that slope. I think I'll start making it round. It is a little bit wiggly on the end, but by making it round, we'll straighten it out.
So I have a bit of a hot take on Halloween.
Let's hear your hot take on Halloween. I'm very excited to hear it.
I think Halloween has a stronger sense of giving than Christmas does.
It's an interesting premise.
At least as
Could
we get
understand
older.
that.
Yeah, because if you're at a house party or if you're just celebrating at home, you have a bowl to give candy to the kids, and you're not expecting to get candy in return.
Zero expectation of anything back.
Yeah, Christmas.
If everything goes well, you might get toilet paper and eggs, but
Yeah.
not in a configuration that you'll appreciate.
Yeah, so that's part of why I really like Halloween. That, and you don't have to conform to societal norms, so it gives you a lot more freedom. So that's my points for Halloween. Other
You're
than that,
saying Christmas or Halloween is more Christmas than Christmas is.
yes.
I like that. That's an interesting premise. I'd love to see you write up like a page or two about that. And then just post that into the internet and just watch the world go wild on it.
That one's still a little bit.
So, to get back to your creativity thought that you're just talking about, how Halloween breeds a certain level of creativity and openness.
Mm-hmm.
Following that, I'd just like to point out here for the record that the method that Levi is using to make this art is not a method that I have taught him.
Nope, I'm just going by the seat of my pants here.
Completely winging this. So I'm very interested to see how that turns out. He has taken a method I did show him. He started with that method, but he is completely off the rails as to how I showed him, which is not a bad thing. I'm just very interested to see how it turns out for him. I'm not hot enough to really do any work yet, so we'll stay out.
It'll be interesting to see if I can get it to move the way that I want, but part of learning blacksmithing is experimenting and learning how metal moves. That way you can do the funky cool stuff like make swords and daggers and
We wouldn't have a lot of the
Yeah.
things we have if people weren't given that creative license, which is a great thing about blacksmithing, is you learn the basics of how to move metal, and it's like, I wonder if I can move metal doing it this way. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's why we have scrap piles, which the blacksmith that teaches me, Kurt, he's an incredible man. He's been blacksmithing for like 52 years. He always says, I go to his class every Thursday night at Custom Blacksmithing in Atlanta, Indiana. He always talks that you can tell the level of a blacksmith by how big a scrap pile is. And I always jokingly respond to him with, dang, I'm going to be an awesome blacksmith. I have a huge scrap pile. So it all goes back to my messages about knives. Make 100 or 1,000 really crappy knives, and then you'll make a really cool knife. You know, just doing the thing makes you better at it. Which comes to an old lesson from my keyboarding teacher in junior high. Keyboarding is typing, not music. But he used to hate the phrase practice makes perfect. He said, no, perfect practice makes perfect.
yeah, slow is smooth, smooth is fast.
Yeah, do the thing correctly lots of times and you'll get good at it. If you just do the thing terribly 100 times, you'll just be terrible with more experience.
I don't think you're getting hot at all.
Not even a little bit. I was just thinking that I'm spending a lot of time rambling, and I want you to get ahead because you're doing some pretty complex shit there. So I don't want to be in your way.
I think I have the heat where I want it this time. Let's see if I can get this to flatten out.
Yeah. Maybe use the right side of the hammer too while we're at it.
That's pretty close to where I want it. Alright, time for containment.
Jesse, do a two thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Child, the camera's going to spin sideways, isn't it?
Levi's better at thumbs up than you.
Maybe it's the cigar. Hold on. Oh, wait, the thumbs do go from landscape to portrait. So with it being in portrait, why would it change?
It should switch back to landscape.
What if I do that? Nothing.
All right, Levi.
On today's episode of Breakdancing with a Blacksmith.
Go
Is it a
like this instead. There you go. It's the way you were doing it. Okay.
Well, okay, so
but-
hold on a second.
Do it one more time for me because I want to do something. And
So for the record, you're standing behind the cameras. The people watching have no idea what's happening. Can you come stand over here for a second? Okay, so we got this cool gimbal thing.
I got a
So
toy.
Brittany can shoot the tiki-talks and whatnot. And it does this cool thing that... Is it on the camera? If you do this...
Other way.
It still doesn't like you.
Okay, Levi, you stand in front of it because apparently it doesn't like me. I wonder if my beard's doing it.
Nope.
There it goes.
So you can see that the camera switches angles when you do the thumbs up thing. Here, hold on. Hold on. Let's try this one more time. It just doesn't like me. All right, so it doesn't like me.
Levi, I'm gonna need not yet, but I'm gonna need you to do another thing here in a
Maybe it's the color of the shirt.
minute. I mean,
But-
thing. Hold on, not yet.
Hold on a second. Step out of the way. Make sure I'm not on the camera. Will you check my phone real quick? Am I clear?
Yeah, you're clear.
Still doesn't work. Not the shirt. It just plain doesn't like me. I don't know what's happening with the stream anymore. Where is the stream even going?
Do we ever know?
I didn't even turn on the lights today because somebody got distracted.
No,
Alright.
never.
Levi, thumbs up.
See, now it doesn't like me.
So why
Okay.
didn't you plug in your phone so you can manage the Zoom and record and all that stuff?
There it goes. What?
You should plug your phone into it so you
I
can
don't
do
need
the.
to. It's Bluetooth.
It's Bluetooth.
So like.
Forgive me, I'm a Luddite. I don't know how technology works.
So like, I use this. You can zoom. I use this, and I can move the
Yeah,
camera.
pan and tilt and stuff. What's our tuning fork
That's-
do?
That's focus.
Oh, that's pretty neat, guys. Oh, let's get out of Levi's way. He's the blacksmith apparently today. Dupe.
Get heat there again, and then I will proceed to curve it.
Is my piece glowing yet?
It's a very, very dull red.
Nah, not good enough for me. Yeah, just leave it on top. It's fine. I want you to get ahead of me. That'll be okay. Dupe. There we go. So yeah, I'm a bit of a Luddite. I don't know how technology works.
Which is a complete and utter lie because he is also an IT guru.
Gross. Not a guru. And a teacher I had in high school made that a 4-letter word, so to speak.
Well, how do you define guru then?
This is not a literal definition of guru.
I'm just asking
But
how you define it.
How guru comes off in my head is I think this may be a relatable thing for our audience that don't play with computers at all or do play with computers. I think this is a relatable thing is at some point in time, someone in your family or someone that you know has been referred to as a computer guru. And this was especially rampant in the early aughts, late 90s, when a lot of us teenagers were computer gurus. And a computer guru was that kid or person that sat and clacked at the computer. I know everything. And then you'd have to go to people's houses that you barely knew, and they'd be like, fix my computer. And then you do what tricks you could to fix their computers. Sometimes you made it better, sometimes you made it worse. And gurus just really kind of came off as like a poser, if you will.
I can see where you're coming from with that.
Kind of like that kid that can maybe kind of stand on a skateboard, and he gets kind of sort of good at skating up and down his driveway. And then for Christmas, his mommy buys him a Tony Hawk skateboard from Walmart. And then he shows up to the skate park and he's like, yeah, Tony Hawk. Yeah! And like thinks he's like big man on campus. And it's like, kid, you've launched your board across the park like 18 times. That's kind of what a guru is. Somebody that kind of knows but doesn't actually know.
See, in my head, it's a little bit closer to the traditional someone who has spent a lot of time and has a lot of experience with whatever profile they're working with.
I completely understand where you're coming from, but again, I had an influence that changed my perspective on the word. I see what you're going for, and I think you'd have better success if you hung out, unless you want really big lobes.
I do want big lobes.
Oh, well then never mind. I was going to say maybe hang out at the edge of the horn a little bit more because I was getting a little big. But I think you can definitely make that symmetrical. It's going to take some jiggering though.
I think the next thing I need to do is probably put the taper in on that.
Probably should have started with tapering that stuff.
Yes.
All right, I'm probably hot enough to do something, and
Yes.
like, I would like to swing a hammer. That's why I do this.
I don't
So
know,
what are
with
we
your
doing again?
experience
Oh.
with the spring before
Oh, that's
we
so
started.
dull. So dull. But we can get a little bit of work done. Why not? Just gonna gently massage those high edges or the corners of the flat of the metal bar stock there. It's not a great heat, but I'm knocking down those corners just a little bit. That's about as far as I'm going to get on that heat. Hey, also, FYI, I may set the tongs there because I created that shelf last week, and I think that's convenient as heck. So I might instinctively throw my tongs over there, just as an FYI.
Good to know. Let's see if I can do a taper on the reverse side of the anvil.
Wait,
It
do
worked.
it again. Oh, this is cool shit. Sorry, crap. This is cool scrap. So it does
Can I
have.
borrow that for a second before you start awkwardly hammering it? Say it on the anvil.
Can I borrow it so you lose all your heat? You can't do anything on this heat.
Yep.
So, fun fact. Apologize for anybody that's hearing me geek out about this. It does have body tracking and face tracking.
So
and object
as
tracking. It's on Levi right now, but like.
It's staying on
Yeah,
Levi.
it's staying
That's
on
pretty
Levi.
rad.
So like.
Get that other end hitting over the tail or the horn. There you go.
Yeah. It was awkward, so I was just going to use brute force to get it the way I wanted it.
Yeah, super cool.
You're super cool.
Stop doing things. I want it on this. You're not allowed to be on the thing anymore if you're going to keep being a butthead.
It's my
See,
stream.
but now it's on you.
You're fired.
So, like, move that way. You jerk.
Put
So
it back.
move that way.
I mean, that's really cool. It's totally.
Right? Isn't that awesome?
That's too dang cool. What a fun little toy. Still not have to do any work. Doop, 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 doop.
Mild steel is nice and easy to work with, but I can see how I am picking up some bad habits.
About not hitting it when it's hot?
Yeah, working it too cold.
Yep. That will bite you in the butt when you work wrought and spring steel or tool steel. Which is fun. Maybe next week. Depends on what my work week looks like. But next week, maybe belt buckles out of wrought iron. I was a little behind on trying to get your horn work done there. Would have been nice if I changed the camera.
We need object tracking on those.
It does have like some sort of auto-focusing and stuff, and I turned it on and did a test video when I first got it. And I had both cameras set up and I turned on auto-focusing, but I found that it stayed on one camera and it would just focus on what was happening in that camera's purview. It wouldn't switch to the other one. It couldn't. And every time I'd move, it would super zoom in on my ear. It's like, that's not even the part that's talking. Like, that's barely the part that listens. But, yeah, I just kept zooming in on my ear. It's like, yeah, I got really gray sideburns. I don't need that in high def on my monitor.
There were a bunch of commands that you could do with that. I don't remember what all of them were.
I can't see it right now. So. Ooh, pause, start, gesture. Oh, so like we wanted to turn off.
Whoa, there's a thing flying by my head. Face tracking. And then Levi's gonna get all distracted by the cool new toy, burn his piece apart,
Probably.
and we will all point and laugh at him.
All right. Well,
That's not something
since you
I would
screwed it up,
ever
you have to fix it.
Hmm?
Be better. Figure out how to toggle between people, though.
It's stuck on me.
do the pause sign with your left hand.
What's a pause sign with your left hand?
The stop, just palm out.
How
Oh,
is
stay.
that working? It's on me. What switch if I use a cigar as a thumb? Oh, well. That's why it wasn't working, because it was reading the cigar as an extra thumb. Alright. We may be ready for Jesse's rant of the day.
Uh-oh.
Nobody's ready for Jesse's rant of the
No
day.
one's ever ready for Jesse's rant of the day. It swapped and now it's Levi. He wins. Oh, there we go.
Those hand gestures seem really cool, but it also seems like it'd be a pain in the butt because you'd have to edit the hand gestures out. Otherwise, it'd be look real funky when you're.
Hey, so guys, the other day I saw a lady walking down the street, and then what had happened was, like, that's not awkward at all. So I even did a little bit of homework today just to make sure that I'm not completely out in left field on this one. So I'm gonna leave the camera on me because I'm talking instead of Levi's camera over here. But a couple weekends ago, Brittany and I,
It's not me this time.
not Brittany this time because she's standing right there. That's not hot enough.
No, it's not.
So Brittany and I and some of her old friends as in friends for a really long time, not that they're old. I was probably still the oldest guy in the group.
You were.
Because you're old.
Thank you. And so we went to the Children's Museum here in Indiana. And they had an exhibit for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
So here we go.
Here we go, indeed. They've already heard this rant. It's well rehearsed and practiced. So, that was my generation. I was the exact right age for Ninja Turtles when Ninja Turtles became a thing. I'm fully aware it started off as a comic book and then it became a cartoon and a toy line, blah, 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 blah. We don't need to get into the history of it. But I was excited to see this particular exhibit. Like, yeah, I love me some Ninja Turtles. That's my jam. Let's not burn our metal while we're ranting. So, I was excited to get to this exhibit. And they start off with a straight shot to me. Ooh, now you got some heat. I need some heat in here. Walking into the exhibit, they had toys like Michelangelo, 1990, in the case, in a museum. It makes me feel old. Levi's always telling me I'm old, and I keep telling him I'm not. But okay, so my toys showing up in a museum, that makes me old. But they had like Michelangelo, 1990, Raphael, 1991, Leonardo, right? So they've got all my old toys in the case, along with the newer versions of the toys, which don't seem as cool. And I'm walking around looking at my old toys, and they had one display as like a diorama of like a construction scene, and they had a water toy that was incomplete. It's like, well, you're not even using the toy right. So then I felt like a big old like well, actually, kind of nerd. Like, that's not even right. But walking around, they had these big posters of like Donatello, and it had a label underneath it, inventor. Which, okay, am I hot? Cool. I'll shut up for a minute.
We're
I'll
about
grab
to
it.
get sparkly.
I appreciate you looking out for me, buddy. So on this piece here, I'm still working on making it round because I've been using very terrible heats. So I'm just going real nice and slow. Why are we get? Oh, did the gimbal follow Levi somewhere?
Because I have no control over it. Anyway, continue.
So yeah, we're just making this round, and I'm taking a lot of extra heats because I'm staying high out of the fire, so I don't burn my piece while yammering and while Levi works. So anyways, they had Donatello, inventor. Okay, I accept that. Then they had Leonardo, leader. Yep, that's right. Then they had Raphael, warrior. Okay, removing nuance, sure. But the really egregious, I think that's the right word I'm looking for, label, they had Michelangelo. And how did they have Michelangelo labeled at this museum that's supposed to be a place of knowledge and facts? Levi, how was he labeled?
Party boy?
Nope.
Party guy.
Still no.
I don't remember.
Party turtle.
It was something party.
Nope, that's the actual correct answer. It had him labeled as clown.
Oh, yeah.
My cigar went out. But they had Michelangelo labeled as clown. And that's just not right. He wasn't a clown. That's silly. He's not Joe Pesci from The Goodfellas. Reference for those of you movie nerds. He wasn't a clown. And if you listen to the original theme song, that is how most of us, were introduced to the Turtles. Donatello does machines. Leonardo is cool but crude. Michelangelo is the party dude. Just because you like to party doesn't make you a clown. And I just hated that. He's not a clown. He's not just here to amuse you. He just likes to party. And that was just really, like, Levi suggested I email them and let them know of their errors.
Did you?
I did not.
Slacker.
So we got a really good rounding going on here. Oh, somebody switched it for me. Yeah, so that's pretty good and round, but I still got a slight wiggle in there. And the transition from square to round isn't great. So I think I'm going to do one or two more heats to clean it up now that I'm at a good enough round. But yeah, it's such a problem with Michelangelo the clown. He's not a clown.
What do you want? Fire.
I think Levi's been doing a lot of painting in his free time.
Yeah.
The hammer goes up and down.
If I have a tendency of trying to paint when I don't want to hit it as hard as I feel like I'm moving. Which is probably not a good habit to have.
So I'm giving you the business, buddy. So yeah, if you happen to be watching, jump in the comments. Am I wrong? Michelangelo's not a clown. but I'm trying to refrain from cursing and getting too excited about it. It really cuts that rant down in time. I'm pretty happy with that. I said I was going to do 2 more heats, but I'm pretty happy with how that turns out. So now I'm going to quench it. And then, yeah. And then I'll work the other side.
What did you decide not to email the museum with your grievances?
I wish I had a deliberate answer for you. But it really just comes down to, do we really think that they will receive an email from me and then read it and say, this old guy says that we mislabeled this cartoon turtle from the 80s. We should hurry up and spend a bunch of money to print out a new sign for it. I just don't think it's going to happen.
That's all relative to how committed they are to being accurate.
I may or may not have also said, I have a friend that works at the museum, so you can let me know for you.
How do they go about correcting errors like that?
What does your friend who works at the museum do? Does he, is he a janitor at the food court?
No. She is actually part of the museum.
She is part of the what?
I'm not sure what she does.
I just really feel I'll get a form letter of, thank you very much, Jesse. We appreciate your inquiry about the clown. But, we're a multi-million-dollar museum with polar bears and dinosaurs. Kindly have a nice day. Here's a link so you can become a member and give us a bunch of money. That's what I expect to happen.
So it's basically boils down to fear of rejection.
No, it more comes down to it'll probably just be a huge waste of time that ultimately won't really matter because it's a children's museum and it's probably mostly just a bunch of little kids and they don't know the difference between being a party dude and being a clown.
I wonder if they're avoiding party dude because it could have a negative connotation to it.
Potentially. But to be fair, they have a whole exhibit of children that were repressed and terrorized, and they don't shy away from the Anne Frank and the Nazis and that one young lady that fought to get education for women's by the Taliban. They don't pussyfoot around those subjects.
That's because it's socially acceptable to have those.
It's socially acceptable to be a Nazi? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's socially acceptable to talk about those topics. It's not socially acceptable to be considered a...
Things that people are educated about in school.
Mm-hmm.
What do kids look forward to the most in life beyond Halloween and Christmas? Their birthday party, where they all want to be party dudes. And they use that to terrorize other kids. You didn't share your ball at recess, you don't get to come to my birthday party.
Yeah, I think they're more concerned about the connotation it turns into when you become a college-age individual.
I completely understand what you're going for, but I reject the premise because that's just dumb.
Which is why it's probably true.
Thumbs up, please.
Hey!
There we go. Thank you.
I wonder if it's lighted. No, it was over there and it still didn't light.
It's getting better. It's more about thumb placement and the absence of a cigar.
Yeah, because I think when Jesse was doing it, his fists were together.
I was using the cigar as a thumb and got it to rotate. It's more about distance and extra stuff.
AI is weird.
What?
I said AI is weird.
AI isn't real. No, it's not AI, at least.
Machine learning is weird.
There you go. We didn't set up a second phone so we can monitor the comments from over here.
That's
I
because we're
just checked them.
slackers.
There's nothing yet.
Nada.
I think I need to open this up just a little bit. And then I will flick that into a hook.
I thought you'd switch tongues already.
I'm thinking too much about this. I'm halfway wondering if I can wrap this tail back up and around. How much of a pain in the ass that'll be. Pain in the butt. Imagine that'd be.
I don't think you have a lot of metal to do that, so it might not come out as clean as you think.
Yeah.
Just my thoughts.
I'm wondering if it'd be better to open it up and try and get it, or try it anyways just to have the experience of doing it.
Brittany, are you recording with your gimbal?
Not at the moment.
Can you hit these for me real quick? You gotta plug them in.
Huh?
Gotta plug them in. Mike toasting up over there.
Not quite yet.
Mr. holding on to the tongs for 40 minutes.
Yeah, sorry. Trying to get a plan of attack before going into it.
Should you plug them into the jackery?
Yes, please. Hit, pass. So again, just working down the tapers again. Make it pointy and pretty and even. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Best crew in the business.
I am going to try and wrap that tail around. I know it's probably not going to work very well.
Well, the hotter you get it, the easier it will be.
Yeah. The hard part will be getting what I want hot and not the rest of it.
Well, that's one of the beautiful things about coal fires is it can be very helpful in isolating your heat. Whereas a gas forge just gets everything super hot. Oh, no.
No?
No, not even a little bit. You want that to be like yeller. You want that very hot. The hotter you get that, that'll increase your level of success. I'm not guaranteeing success, but it'll improve it.
I'm going to blame you when it comes out as sparkler.
Which brings us to the audience participation part of tonight's show. We got a good crowd. They've been very quiet, but we got about 30 people hanging out here in front of us. Now we got a guy with a weird hat. Like, what's up with that weird hat?
I don't know. I thought he was related to you somehow.
He's got the beard and the long hair, but he does pigtails for some reason. Braided pigtails at that. That's a choice.
He's
like
cute.
and the hat. What do you think? We're not going to ask. Sorry, so we're just going to talk about you like you're not really there. But do you think he made that hat, or do you think he bought that hat? That looks very much handmade.
I hope it's handmade because I would feel bad about spending money on something like that.
I feel like
Dang.
somebody's like artsy girlfriend who's into crystals and stuff made that hat. It's a very cool hat, sir. No, you don't have to get up. You can sit down. That's fine. All right, so
I'm sparkling.
oh, well, we don't know who to blame.
Oh.
Oh,
You can blame Jesse for not getting out of your way, though.
oh, that's like just wrap the other side around. You got more tail over there.
Well, I just wanted. To
That guy in the hat with the guy in the audience with that hat really distracted you on that one.
I wonder why.
Well, you know, weirdies show up to things like this. So, and the woman in the red dress is back with her mousy looking boyfriend. Nice to see you. So, let's do a vote real quick. We're going to make it a binary decision. On tonight's stream, everybody, are we blaming Levi for everything? Yes or no? Let's see the hands for no. Oh, wow. Are you paying off this crowd?
I had to do something.
All right, so then those who say yes, the woman in the red dress still count as three because she still votes both hands. I don't know why she does that, but her and the mousy guy,
Physics effects.
I guess. So mousy guy and woman in the red dress, that's 3 points, and then the guy with the hat, he's emphatically like voting against you. So it's like 3-27. So I guess we don't blame Levi for everything tonight. You really turned that crowd around. I don't know how you did it.
Yeah, I saw pictures of you online.
We need to start shaking these people down when they come over. I still don't know. Why does the woman in the red dress put both her hands up? I don't know. It's a very impressive trench coat, mousy guy. I don't know your name. Sorry.
You don't know any of their names. You just go by what they look like.
Yeah, this is very superficial here.
So mousy
We got a guy with a patchwork flat cap with like a propeller on, like 2 propellers on it for some reason.
Go, Mr. Gadget.
Yeah, that's not hot. It's not going to do what you want it to do.
Yeah. If I hit it hard enough to do what I want, it's not gonna end well.
That's exactly right. Anybody else getting really hungry like early tonight?
Well, I think that has something to do with your neighbors. Somebody's got a barbecue.
It smelled delicious when they were firing up their barbecue. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that taper came out. Pretty nice. It's not exactly straight, but it's getting ready to be curled up here in just a minute, so that will become a moo point. Yes, I said a moo point because it's like a cow's opinion. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you should tell.
Nope. Joey Tribbiani.
I know, but that's what you sound. You sound like.
Yeah, where everything's made up and the points don't matter on our little stream here. If you're watching the stream and you're wondering exactly what Levi's doing here, we share that in common.
So I'm essentially just trying to loop this around because I burnt the tip off, and I figure if it curls back around and hides, then I don't have to worry about it.
Are you worried about hitting metal when it's way too black to be hitting it?
With mild steel, not so much.
Somebody is learning bad habits, okay?
He called it.
I have you to thank for that.
You're welcome.
I watch you do it all the time.
Well, there is a difference between trying to move metal and planishing metal.
Yes. When you're trying to cut spring steel when it's black, it's...
Hey, nobody saw that, and we don't have to talk about that. Oh, I already did this step. I don't need to be doing this. I want to be curling this. But I thought I have a good heat to at least clean this up a little bit and get rid of some hammer marks. But yes, I was cutting spring steel a little bit ago, and I thought I could get through it with the heat that I had, and I was incorrect. And then someone, rightfully so, called me out for hitting on it while it was too black. These things happen.
And then he continued to do so.
I thought I was there. I thought I had it at a spot where I could break it. Purposefully. I wonder if it would help you if you put that crook right there. No, well, you could do it that way. That's not how I was going to go about doing it. But if you flip it around and put it in there, so like your long leg, yeah, there you go. Now tap down on that pit. Maybe get that curl around a little easier. Oh, you know what might also help? Try that little guy.
That probably would have been helpful, but I think that's probably about where I want it.
I think you can get it in there a little bit more if you want to try.
All right. I will do that. We ain't got nothing but time.
I think I might have a curling heat on that piece.
I think that might only... Ooh, that was close.
Let's get that camera over here so you can see me doing this curling motion here. I think we're going to go right about there. And we're just going to hammer that right off the edge. And when it gets awkward with that angle, you just flip around to the other side. Hold it real tight to the anvil. And curl it over. I'm going to hammer it tight against. We end up with that nice little hooky hook deal. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so we got a nice little hook. And now we will flip her around. Get the other side hot and hopefully get a pretty symmetrical bend going on. I'm going to bury the tip of that metal since it's so small. I'm going to bury that into the coal so it gets less heat.
Thank you.
So it doesn't burn off. The hammer has not made it on the stream yet that Levi's using. That is the second hammer I ever made.
Yeah, I'll call that good enough. Now...
There are actually some videos on the Instagram of me making this hammer. Certainly pictures of it.
Thank you, that was very helpful.
I think I might be at another curl in heat. Yeah, we can curl that. We're going to remember to switch on our camera angles. Now, the way I did this before was I basically put the square part on the anvil and then curled it down from there. So I'm just hammering off the anvil. That got awkward quick. Again, hammering it real tight against the horn. I'm not happy with how that curl came out.
What were you telling me about hammer and black?
Yep, I said a lot of things, but I think I have enough heat to straighten this. Got a weird hook in there that I gotta massage out. Or we can just cut off the very tip. That works too. Yeah, good enough. I'll fix that too. So that's all good. We'll just clean up that paper. No big deal.
Let's see if I can get this part to come around where I want it to.
Are you gonna drop that down to like a garment hook kind of deal?
That's kind of what I was thinking. But now that I'm here, my methodology doesn't seem as...
Well, you'll do better if you hold tongs on that side so you can support that piece better. I'd dig those tongs down as far as you could. There you go. Brittany, any comments, questions, concerns
Oh, there are a lot of things.
in the chat?
Oh, no. Nothing yet.
Any viewers?
Doesn't look like it.
That's what we get for doing an off-day stream.
Yeah, these things.
Did you tell anybody you were doing anything?
No,
Well,
I also don't advertise about the Monday streams on any of the social media, despite the fact that I should. We'll do one more heat on that, get some of those lines out that didn't want to finish out. Nope. On all the streams, I basically just let all the subscribers get the heads up and then let the algorithm do its thing. I should post to Instagram on like Monday mornings and remind everybody about the fun stuff going on.
That was a bit much. I don't like that. More heat. I'll fix.
Need some heat in here. Give me that heat.
Probably should have dropped it down a little bit further.
I'm not going to use those other tongs to pull that tip out of the heat so you don't burn off your tip.
yeah, so that's the only thing with this is I feel like it's going to require a little more editing.
Probably.
Piece it together.
At least you'll have frames that you can easily identify.
Right.
Keyframes are nice when it comes to editing.
Still kind of a neat toy.
It's a very
Oh,
neat toy.
it's fun. See, look what I can do.
Get some matrix stuff.
Oh, what's that SNL skit? Look what I can do.
That was Matt
Yeah,
TV,
right.
not SNL.
I knew it was one of those.
I only
I loved Stewart. You know, the other day I was sufficiently bored enough that I sought out a compilation clip of the lowered expectations bit. If you're a younger generation watching the stream, go look it up. Lowered expectations, Matt TV. Funny stuff.
And still not quite what I want.
Levi's making a garment hook for the astronauts where gravity is not really a thing.
They won't. Stranded
I can
astronauts
give
on
that
the
a twist and
ISS
it should be fine.
need garment hooks too.
For those poor guys that are marooned on the ISS and have to hang out till February to come home.
Well, at least the Starliner is not making funny noises anymore.
They did get that sorted.
They did, yeah.
But I gotta tell you that it's good that that was coming from inside the capsule, because could you imagine being in the vast void of space and having a sonar sounding ping hit your ship? That's scary. So those of you that may not know, so Boeing built, it's Starliner, is that what it's called? Boeing built the Starliner, which is like a spaceship, and they blasted a couple of guys into space, and then it had problems, and they're on the ISS hanging out, but they can't come home on the Starliner, so they're kind of marooned on the ISS.
Say, wasn't the Starliner supposed to like head back today?
I don't know, but
it was supposed to head back like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I thought they were supposed to already be home.
The original mission parameters was
Well,
a
but I
while
mean,
ago.
now that whatever the issue was, they got it figured out. I think it was supposed to come back like somewhat recently.
The Starliner is broken, so Elon Musk will be sending up one of his Dragon. I don't know if it's Dragon Heavy, but one of the Dragons will be going up in a few weeks.
It's Falcon Heavy or Dragon Capsule.
There you go.
I don't think they launched the Dragon Capsule from a heavy profile. The heavy profile is the 3-booster configuration for the Falcon 9. But the Dragon Capsule does launch from the Falcon.
So yeah, so they're sending up a Dragon of some variety, and the Dragon is supposed to be resupplying the ISS, and then they're going to hang out until like February, and then they all get to come home. When they send up the Dragon, it's a 4-seater, so they're just sending up 2 astronauts and 2 empty spacesuits, because the spacesuits for the Dragon are not compatible with the spacesuits for the Starliner, and vice versa. So now these guys are going to have to hang out till February while they do their resupply mission, and then they get to hitch a ride home. But if you didn't hear the sound that the guy was hearing, I think his name's Butch or something like that. He was the one that reported it. And for just like a random nerd like me who has seen a lot of things on the internet, to me, it sounded like a sonar ping. And I think even one of the NASA guys said that sounds like a sonar ping. It wasn't. It was something to do with the audio link between the Starliner and the ISS, and they were getting kind of like a feedback situation.
It's a little off center, but
So are you.
I'll take that as a win.
But yeah, the sound was a bit disturbing.
I mean, it sounded kind of like a heartbeat monitor.
Yeah.
Kind of deal with first.
Alright, so I got my tapers and I got my loops on the end, such as they are. So now I'm getting the piece hot in the middle, or close to at least. And here in a second, I will drag that out and grab it with both tongs and whoop, basically close it so it won't look like a heart. And then I'll hammer it down to make the pointy bit pointy. And then drag her out, and it'll look like a heart. And then somebody will give me a high five. even if it's me. No high fives yet, but I can't leave you hanging.
No, it's
Oh,
fine.
you're just gonna leave me hanging. All right.
You started it. I was here. I was being supportive.
So now we got a hold of the thing. The heat's not exactly where I want it, but it should do the trick. Let's get that hotter. That doesn't want to bend very. But at least we got it started. Get that nice and hot.
You went back to your old one.
Just for the time being. The when I was stranded in Greensburg, Indiana, we went to a gas station. They had vapes for $9.99. So this is definitely expired. I probably shouldn't be hitting it, but it's $10. And it was like my favorite flavor back in the day when I used to hit all those.
The one that tastes like Flintstone chewables.
Sure. Tastes like a gummy bear to me, like a white gummy bear. And I'm still messing with the settings on my refillable one because it tastes kind of burnt.
Well, you know, it could just be time for a new coil.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I'm actually pretty sure I've got oil and stuff like that.
Because depending on the kind of juice you're running, some of those aren't quite.
Yeah, I thought about that. And then I found these again, and I was just like, man,
I finally got off the button.
I didn't realize it came with. So it came with an extra coil, and it came with an extra like little tube thingy with the wrenches in.
I would check and make sure that it's the same coil. A lot of times they'll send it to different coils.
That was annoying.
Not really. Like, it allows you to experiment with different coil designs, work better with some fluids than others. Kind of deal.
Yeah, I'll play around with that eventually, but for now I don't have to do anything with these. So.
All right. So I got that heart collapsed, and I'm cleaning up the pivot point, if you will, or the point-to-point bit. Then we'll stretch her back out. It's not super symmetrical, but you know what? It's art. It doesn't have to be. Just look at Picasso.
I'd rather not.
Or what was that other guy? Salvador Dali? Dali? His stuff wasn't super symmetrical, and they still seem to enjoy his art.
I really don't like that abstract impressionist style.
That is not even a little bit of a shock for me, Mr. Man, who lives in a world of semantics.
Like, I'm alright with impressionistic. I can take some of that.
I got that impression.
I can even deal with a bit of abstract. But when you combine the two, it's just too far out there, and it's just.
According to you, if it's not a right angle, it's a wrong angle.
That was sparkling a lot for not being sparkly.
No, it's probably that piece of metal that's down in there.
Oh, yeah, it's probably a tip off of my piece.
Could be. Also, today is just full of Friends references. The right angle or wrong angle, that's another Friends reference. Good old... Oh, who was it that was on the show? Was it Burt Reynolds or Tom Selleck? Tom Selleck. Roger was his name?
I don't think so.
too far. Wow, that did not come out nearly as nice as my last one. There we go. Asymmetrical,
That's a
impressionist, abstract.
Dolly would be proud.
Dolly Parton.
Sure, she would be proud too.
You think so?
She's proud of everybody who tries.
She's just a happy lady.
She's out there busy working that 9 to 5 for all of us. There we go. We got ourselves the heart. Levi, where's your heart?
It's on the hot shelf.
Hot.
I kind of wish that I could have gotten that hook a little bit more centered, but overall I'm pretty happy with it.
All right. Heart. Made by me. And then the heart. Made by Levi. My hand's not big enough for that. But yeah, his turned into a little bit of a Garmin hook. But with a hook that size, I would think maybe someone's going to hang a dog leash off of it.
That's kind of what I was thinking. But even then, I think it's probably a little bit small for my dog leash setup.
This is true. You got a full-on dog team setup going on. So, we did the fun trick today. So now we have to do the work. So going to be changing the format just a little bit because I have just over 150 links I have to make, to which I've made like 20 or somewhere in the teens. So every stream I will make 1 or 2 links, and here soon I will do just the whole 4 today without the cameras, and I will try to get caught up on links. So I will knock out this link and we will shut the stream down just a little bit earlier today. Mainly because I'm super hungry. Super hungry.
Just an updated number, 172 between YouTube and TikTok.
I got a lot to make. 172. Thank you so much, guys. I greatly appreciate it. And while we're waiting for that metal to hit up, we'll do a quick plug real quick. Of course, follow me on the TikToks and the YouTubes and the Twitch and the Instagram, Brimstone Forge US, brimstoneforge.us will take you to my online store. Couple things there for cigar smokers and coffee drinkers in the crowd. Other plugs, DV_Forge on the Instagram does incredible stuff. He recently did a fire poker that, if you weren't paying attention, you would think it was a full-on like rapier. It's very cool. Custom Blacksmithing in Atlanta, Indiana. Sharp Bend Forge on the YouTubes. As always, Nikki Blaine's Downtown Indy, best cigar lounge that I've ever been to. From the Mold, another one you should be following on Instagram. He does artistic stuff. He makes plaster molds of various things that people then buy and draw. And I think he's going to start getting into limestone work a little bit. I don't know. Am I missing anybody? Am I forgetting anybody? I feel bad. I feel like there's one.
Real estate guy?
Yeah, Sean Daniels. Daniels Real Estate. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate in Indiana, hit him up. He'll treat you right. He's more about getting people in the right homes versus making a lot of money and stuff. I think that's everybody. Levi, are you posting your own content? Do you want to plug for your TikToks?
Nah, not really. My TikTok is just fun shenanigans. Really need to find a way to link better to yours. That way I can try and get some of the people following me over onto yours.
Well, she's shooting a lot of blacksmithing stuff of you. You could get those files from her, I bet, and post them on your own.
I would be happy to do that.
But I think that's all the plugs that I usually get out. Not very square. There we I think that's all the plugs I got. My cigar is stuck. So on these chain links, if this is the first time you're seeing it on the channel, I taper it down relatively flat to about half the width of the material. So when they overlap and get forged welded together, they'll be about the full width of the material. So I do a taper on one side, taper on the other, and then fold it over, curve it over. Bada bang. Which, while we're waiting that to heat up, there's lots of ways you can do chain link. Some people do it where they fold it in half as the first step, and then scarf down, flip it over, and then scarf down the other side so they're opposite, and then they curve them together. Some people hammer out the tapers on both sides and then do curves up, kind of like I just did that heart. So when you do the bend in the middle, they meet. I like doing it this way. It's less awkward. At least for me. But, you know, there's a million different ways to do this stuff correctly. Taper done. Heat it up in the middle. All the thumbs up or the gimbal thing makes it flip, and that annoys Brittany, so that's my new favorite thing.
But it doesn't like listening to you. Doesn't listen to me now either. Did you turn off the gestures?
I don't think so.
See if we can get these to match up on the first try. It twisted on me a little bit. I had those tapers lined up, and I was way off. hot trike.
I keep forgetting that I don't have to like turn my entire body to like get the camera where I want it to go. I would have loved it if that would have worked.
I would have loved that too.
That would have been hilarious.
I feel like, what's the name of that lady with that song, The Tones and I feel like a dance monkey over here.
Almost took out your light.
Almost took out my light and Brittany at the same time.
Hey, thanks.
Pretty close. I thought I could get that straightened out on that heat, but I ran out of heat.
Burns, burns, burns.
I hear rings are fired.
As long as we don't have hobbits, we're good.
Yeah, so long as no hobbits show up with a ring, we're doing okay. Sir Ian McKellen does Gandalf, yes?
Yes.
I think so.
Apparently they're wanting to do another Lord of the Rings movie for some reason. I think it's going to be called Lord of the Rings, The Cash Grab. And, which I believe was going to be the name of the sequel of Spaceballs, had they done one.
I could have seen that actually being pretty good.
If only they would have got the first one good.
The first one was great.
Yeah,
You are just a man who lacks culture.
clearly. But they want to do another one, and apparently Sir Ian McKellen doesn't want anybody to don the pointy hat and the robe, and he really wants to be Gandalf in the new one.
What, like, I don't understand what they're trying to do. Are they trying to, like, have a bit of the series on the Elven continent, or what would, like, I don't understand at all what the premise could possibly be.
Neither do they.
Probably kind of like that terrible TV show that they're doing for some reason. Probably be like original content in the Tolkien universe.
I didn't know there was a TV show.
Oh my god, it's so bad.
It's what, Amazon?
Yep.
We got through maybe like 15-20 minutes of the first episode, and we were like, no.
I gave up on trying a lot of the Amazon originals with the Wheel of Time shenanigans.
I liked Wheel of Time, personally. But that's also coming from somebody that, like, I hadn't read the books
Okay.
or any of
If you hadn't read the books, I could see it being at least decent for most of the first season. But, yeah.
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings show was just terrible. Just, like, one of the things that really bothered me about it was they climbed a mountain, they got to this thing, it was some elven chick leading a small army, and then this monster that I can't even tell you what it was. Was it a troll? Was it a... I don't know what it was, but it was some kind of monster, was picking up guys and throwing them. Like, this thing was, like,
think it was a
monstrous,
troll.
like a troll. And it was throwing guys, and they were like hitting trees and folding backwards like a lawn chair. And then they, like, most of them caught a gruesome beatdown. And then in the next scene, you see them just those same guys walking around, like collecting things and setting up a fire in a camp. It's like, dude, you were dead 2 minutes ago. What are you doing walking around without issue.
Continuity struggles.
Yeah, it just wasn't good. Just was not good at all. And the dialogue was...
Written by a 5-year-old.
Yeah, it was just... Like, the dialogue was so great that even George Lucas could have been like, really? That's what you guys wrote? Like, it was just not good. Which, speaking of George Lucas ideas that are revered as bad, what I thought was neat in the most recent season of The Mandalorian, they had a Jedi show up and do a bunch of real cool Jedi stuff. He was fighting, just knocking people down like a straight total like bad arse Jedi, just crushing it, killing it. The actor that played that Jedi, crushing it, was the guy in the suit who played Jar Jar Binks. I thought it was great that they gave that actor, like, all right, we gave you a terrible character once, we'll give you an awesome character this time.
Yeah, probably continues to spur on the fan theories that Jar Jar Binks was a hidden Sith.
I mean, it's put that up in the middle. Make it a little bit more. I mean, it's interesting, the whole, because Jar Jar Binks should have died several times, but dumb luck always seemed to be on his side.
Yeah, I could understand him being force sensitive and not knowing it. You know, how kind of like how Anakin was before he got picked up.
Or Leia.
Yeah. So I could kind of see that, but trying to play him off as some hidden bad guy just doesn't make sense.
No, I totally get that. He was force sensitive and things just kind of worked out for him. Kind of like Domino from the comic books. Not Star Wars, but Marvel.
Yeah.
The Jedi version of Domino.
I still have a huge affection for Star Wars, but Star Wars as in the books, not the movies.
Well,
Which,
there is an old bit of conventional wisdom that used to be on the internet that I'm a big supporter of because I think it's true, is true Star Wars fans hate Star Wars.
yeah. Yep, I can see that.
All right, she's an ugly link, but she is definitely a chain link. So, got our chain link out for the stream. We made hearts. I ranted for a minute about Ninja Turtles. Any other subjects we want to broach real quick while we shut her down?
Don't think so.
Cool. We got all the plugs in. Of course, brimstoneforge.us and brimstoneforge.us on the TikToks, YouTube, and Twitch and Instagram. I can plug myself as much as I want because it's my stream. But I think we're going to go ahead and shut it down, kids. I know it's Tuesday today, but we will be back Monday next week. Same Forge time, same Forge channel. For me and everybody else here, whether they are on camera or not, we bid you a good night.
Bye forever.
Like, comment, and subscribe. We will see you next week. Cheers.